Mr. President for the great job he's doing. You know that for a long time, every administration, every government in Nigeria have been trying to to remove the fuel subsidy. We attempted even during our time. And it was actually part of the campaign of every presidential election in the previous election, in the past election. But for Mr. President to have achieved this feat on the first day of his presidency is quite commendable. We have seen a lot happening in the monetary policy sector. We also commend him for what he's doing, and I thought it was very important that some of us will see him and let him know the great things he's doing. For the first time in Nigeria, states and federal government were to share 1.9 trillion. It's unprecedented. I believe that we are on the verge of a turnaround, an economic turnaround in this country. And going by the American parlance, is the economy stupid? We need a president who understands the economy, and I believe that we have one now. That's really part of what we discussed. And secondly, I had to also discuss the progress we are making in Bayelsa. You know that I am the candidate for the governorship of Bayelsa in the forthcoming governorship election on the 11th of November. We are set to take over Bayelsa, and I had to inform Mr. President of what we are doing and also take advice from Mr. President. That basically were the two issues that we discussed. Thank you. A governor in Bayelsa, and I've been part of the politics of Bayelsa from inception. So I know Bayelsa, and Bayelsa knows me. Now, you know also in 2019, we won the election. The governor that is there today is a governor that won only 2 local governments in that election. But unfortunately, you know what happened. Even previously in 2015, we won the election. The Southern Niger results were cancelled and redone. And of course, you know what took place at that time. So we are fully on ground. APC is the party on ground in Bayelsa State. And I can assure you that we can do it again, and we will do it again. Well, at that time, I told you the rehabilitation of the refineries were on course. And we were on course to also conclude the rehabilitation of the 60,000 barrels per day refinery in Port Harcourt. And of course, the rest of it was to be concluded later on. And since then, I'm no longer there. I don't know the state of affairs now. But I must tell you that at that time, everything was on course to ensure that our refineries were working. And we made every effort to ensure that the refineries work, because we know that the refineries working will really add to the security of supply in Nigeria, security of product supply. And we did everything at the time. But right now, I must tell you that I'm no longer there. So I'm not as yeah, very much. That's more like it. Well, Bayelsans expect a lot from me now. I have been in Bayelsa, and they know what we achieved during that time. This time, I'm going back to Bayelsa. I have 4 years. It's a very short term, as you know. So we have to hit the ground running. You have to go knowing what you want to achieve. If not, you will just be beating about the bush and the time will run out on you. So I have a 6-point agenda this time. Just 6 points. First point of the agenda is human capital development, including education, which is very important. We need to really develop the capacity of our people. Second point of the agenda is infrastructure, which we really need in Bayelsa State. Third point of the agenda is to develop an economy for Bayelsa. And for Bayelsa, we believe that the economy that can easily be developed is a gas economy because we are sitting on the highest deposit of gas in Nigeria. Fourth point of the agenda is agriculture. And in agriculture, we are not going to also be trying everything. We are going to concentrate on rice production. As you know, rice does well in the swamps. And Bayelsa has a lot of swamps, as you know. We have the primary rice farm project, which was actually supposed to design to produce rice for the whole of Nigeria and West Africa, but it's been abandoned. So Bayelsa is actually within the rice belt. We are definitely going to become the biggest rice producer in Nigeria because we have that advantage, a comparative advantage. And then, of course, in agriculture, we're looking at also fishery. Then, the fifth point of the agenda will be to stabilize power. Because you know that if you want to grow an economy, you need to stabilize power. In my previous incarnation in Bayelsa, I was already on course to stabilize power in Bayelsa before I left. Unfortunately, they took it back 360 degrees. We must stabilize power. Working with the federal government, we must stabilize power in Bayelsa, and we have the gas to fire the power sector. And then the sixth point of the agenda is to ensure that there is security. So it's a 6-point agenda, and we're going to hit the ground running. And I can assure you, linking up with the great things that are going to be achieved from the federal side, from what we can see, I believe that the glory days of Bayelsa are just around the corner, just like the glory days of Nigeria are also around the corner.
Last one, please. Last one.
More experienced person now. I was governor in my early 40s. Now, I'm about to be 60. So you can see that a lot has happened. A lot of experience has been garnered. So they will see a bigger and more mature governor this time. A governor that is known to the world now, and the world knows. And I know the world, and the world knows me now. So it's going to be definitely a different ball game in Bayelsa State now. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Updates.